on the one hand, it would be wrong to argue that Jesus kept the Torah based on the fact that he observed the Passover, because there's something happening there at the Passover very important for the new covenant, and that's Jesus now putting himself and
Yeah.
effectively replacing, thus changing the
Good.
Passover as it was directed under
Yes.
the law of Moses. Now, another thing here, Anthony,
Yeah.
in Ellicott's commentary for English readers, they make another interesting, they note that the word for remembrance in Luke 22:19 is also used in the Greek version, what we call the LXX, Old Testament or the Hebrew scriptures, in reference to the showbread of Leviticus 24:7.
Good point.
And the blowing of trumpets in Numbers 10:10. And Jesus goes on to explain last Passover meal. Jesus says that the cup of wine now symbolizes the new covenant, which will be ratified by his blood on the cross, of course, poured out for many, as he goes on to say in the following verse 20. I think the point here, Anthony, if I'm right, is that we should not pass over our true Passover, our true Christian Passover, who is the Lord Messiah,
Yes.
who with his teaching, preaching of the new covenant, practicing, symbolizes the bread and sacrifice, which in turn is symbolized by the wine, which he institutes the new covenant commandment. And in so doing, we are reminded that whenever we get together as a group of believers, a church, a congregation, we continue to proclaim all that he taught and did until the end of the age. Is that not?
Absolutely. It's a gradual introduction. The key word that you dealt with the other night nicely was that Jesus said, don't imagine I came to destroy the law and the prophets. I came to fulfill them, which means I came to bring them to their ultimate meaning. And that's what Jesus does. He says you can break the Sabbath. Even David did that in anticipation. Even before the time of Jesus, David, example of breaking laws, which was not really breaking the law. David did it as a type, as a model of Jesus. So the distinction between the law of Moses in the letter and the law of Messiah in the spirit can be grasped if you will sit down and read the book of Galatians from beginning to end several times. Otherwise, you're in danger of attaching yourself to the wrong covenant, a Hagar, pagan covenant. That is described as bondage. So if you want to be in bondage, you're going to insist on keeping the Sabbath in the letter. You're going to insist on the food laws in the letter. That's a quick way out of salvation into bondage. That's fair warning.